Hello, hi, wonderful people. I'm so excited for you. Today, we're legitimately turning thoughts, dreams, ideas into actual tangible things that you can enjoy day to day. These are things that you have aspired to have for a while. These are just ideas that you see, purpose that you feel, that you just don't know how to make an actual reality. Today, we're talking about the very first step you need to take, which comes from the basis of this book. Now, in case you're new here, the purpose of this channel is to take ideas from books and to turn them into actionable systems that you can implement into your own life and to share a little bit of the knowledge. Now, I annotate the whole entire book itself. I read it sometimes multiple times. I take pages and pages of notes on it, and I try to package it in such a way where you can take it, watch this video, and it will literally change something in your life today so that we can all benefit from the knowledge of these amazing books. But I also want to be super clear on the fact that this video does not replace reading the book. This book specifically is so content heavy. It gives so many examples. Just like the other one I've done, which is How to Win and Influence Friends by Dale Carnegie. It's so example heavy, and I cannot go ahead and repeat all of those examples for you in the video. All I can do is transmute the ideas that I receive. So what I suggest you do is that you watch this video, you take something from it, you see if it's applicable to your life, and you decide for yourself, hey, is this book worth reading or sometimes rereading? Like my dad has read a couple self-help books. He's the one who actually got me on this whole journey. He recommended How to Win and Influence Friends by Dale Carnegie, and that was the very first self-help book I read. But he himself didn't remember or implement any other principles. It's like, what I notice is that people read the book and then just nothing sticks. They, in their mind, maybe a couple ideas, a couple sentences, but they're absorbing realistically 1% to 2% of all the knowledge that was helpful in the book, and they promote the book to other people, and they're like, oh my gosh, this was so life-changing for me, when really they've only implemented 1% to 2% of the potential of the book. I really believe that books need to be studied, especially self-help books. And just so you have the context for the book, it was actually Andrew Carnegie that commissioned Hill to go interview 500 successful people and put it all into this cluster of pure principle universal knowledge. Like these are principles that he teaches that you can take and apply to your life just based off of what I told you. I really hope that you decide to actually go and read the book fully. Now we're going to start off with an example that is from the book. Thomas Edison was an inventor. He manufactured the first incandescent light bulb for commercial sale. And he just had this big office, big guy, lots of people working for him. And then there was Barnes in another city, in another town. And from the story, it just seemed like he was quite broke, Barnes. But he snuck onto the train, got to Edison's office, and came in there and announced, I will see Edison and put him on notice that I've come to do business with him. Now, Barnes's goal was not to work for Edison. He was delusional enough to believe that he was going to be business partners with Edison, working together in cohesion to do things together with Edison, as a nobody, with no money. Only an idea. The reason Napoleon Hill put this in the book is to start the book with the idea that every single great thing started with a thought and an idea. And that's what I want you to realize first. And then the next part of the story is that it took him 5 years to get into a position, to even get an opportunity to get into business with Edison. So he basically got an entry-level job, and he worked that for 5 years until he saw an opportunity in something that his engineers created. There was this new product, and his salespeople were like, oh no, we can't sell this, we can't make money on this. But Edison was quite sure that he liked this product, he wanted to keep it around. And Barnes saw this as his opportunity. He went ahead and he sold it. And later there was even the saying, made by Edison, installed by Barnes. He achieved this goal from his life from being an absolute nobody. Giving up is so common in our society that what he did was very unusual. If you take just reality into example for a second, for example, a submarine, I'm pointing over there because I see water over there, so I'm just automatically kind of keen. I know we're not in our usual office, we're actually in Honolulu, Hawaii, vacationing a little bit. But of course I can't forget about you guys. I'm still writing my notes here on the beach, preparing for this. If we take a look at the submarine, that's just quite common now. We just know that it works and know that humans have used this machinery before. But during the time when Jules Verne was alive, he wrote 20,000 Legends Under the Sea, which this book was considered science fiction. It still is. But in this book, he wrote about an underwater machine, and I think he had some sort of engineering inventor's background. So he wrote this as an idea into the book, and everybody was like, oh, like, this is nuts. This is definitely, like, not real. And now look, a lot of what he described actually came to be a reality. Not that he, like, went and invented this thing, but he just had an idea and then it manifested. Another example I really like is Henry Ford. The one who created the horseless carriage is what they used to call it, because the idea of a car, now you look at the world, cars are everywhere. Cars are absolutely everywhere. The remnants of his ideas are still all over the world. I want you to understand the value of an idea, how much value it holds. Every single building, every single partnership, every single everything had to be a thought on a pillow, had to be a thought on a walk. It had to be a spring of a, you know how sometimes you're walking, you're doing something, you're having a conversation with somebody, and something so genius strikes you, and you're just like, oh, I'll remember it, or oh, that's crazy, and you dismiss it. That is how opportunity comes in. Those 5 years that Barnes was waiting and working after that opportunity struck and he took it, that is when it all happened for him. Now, I know that taking opportunities can be scary. I've definitely missed opportunities. I will be making more videos specifically on this book again, but about fear and how you can conquer that. But I do just want to mention something about opportunities. I heard this once, and it was the idea of never missing a day. If you never miss a day in terms of working hard, in terms of going towards your goal, you'll never miss your lucky day. And I see it in the way of my channel, for example, where I want to continue to post because I know that a video will pop up eventually, but I just don't want to miss that lucky day. So I want to produce as much content as possible. But I also want to announce that not missing a day is a skill you have to have. It's not something that you just are born with. It's something that's tough. It's something that you have to rewire your mind into, for the fact that, and that's part of desire. That's part of the fact that you're trying to build an absolute obsession with this goal. And Barnes talked about this too when he was trying to get with Edison. When he was trying to work with Edison, he talked about the fact that he chose this as his life purpose. He chose this as, I will burn all the bridges behind me. I will leave my town. I'm broke as hell. I'm going to go to this guy, into this gigantic building, which I have no idea about. I've never been here. Just imagine how terrifying that is. There was no fear because he so fully believed. He came in there and he announced. Do you know how crazy he would look? He announced, he said, I am going to be a business partner with Edison. Zero in the bank. I will be business partners with Edison. I don't know how, but I'm gonna make it happen. And that's the attitude you gotta have. You need to be so willing to go for it that you're gonna sacrifice it all. And that goes into being willing to do things that other people are not. You have to be willing to talk to people others would be too scared to talk to. You have to be willing to go to places people would be too scared to go to. You have to do things that people aren't doing to get to a place where people aren't. If you're trying to achieve something unusual, how would it make sense to do the things that everybody is already doing? You need to do something out of the box. Whatever that is for you and your goal, you need to do something special. And there's something I want to say about your thoughts. Because as we said, it all starts from thoughts. All these great things come from thoughts. But there are helpful thoughts and there are unhelpful thoughts. And I want to give you the knowledge so that you're able to discern which one that is. And it's a question I often like to ask myself is this thought helpful to me or is it not? If you're constantly looking in the mirror and you're like, oh, I'm ugly, is that serving you? Is believing that you're ugly going to serve you to get prettier? I don't think so. Maybe you think otherwise, or maybe you agree with me. It's a universal principle that Napoleon Hill talks about. If you are grateful for the fact that you're beautiful, for the fact that you have the beauty you do, if you're grateful for it, and if you say to yourself, you know what, I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I watched the Wizard Liz's last video, and what did she say in there? She's like, if you tell yourself you're ugly, just tell yourself 3 times, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. These little white lies, and Napoleon Hill actually does mention little white lies. We won't talk about that example specifically, but he mentions using little white lies, but they're not lies because they later become your reality. If you're grateful for what you have, you will have more of it. I like this example as well. If you're giving lollipops out at the park, not in a weird way, you're giving them out, and there are these two children in front of you, and one of them goes, I don't really want it, I'd rather go on the slide, my mom gives me them all the time. This isn't anything special to them, they're just ungrateful for it. And then there's this other child, and they're saying, I really want it, I will do anything to get it, I'll run around the park 5 times, and I will do 5 push-ups to burn off the calories. I really want that lollipop. Which one are you going to give it to? The one who's going to be thankful and grateful for it, and the one who's going to try for it? Or are you going to give it to the one who's ungrateful and uninterested? Just see this from God's perspective. Do I want to give it to this baboogla, or do I want it to give it to that baboogla? And I think the answer is quite obvious. So you have to have this mindset of, I am willing, I am able, and I'm ready with my thoughts and with my actions. And every single day you just do things to accumulate proof that you are ready in thought and in action, and realize, is this thought helping me or is it hindering me towards my goals? And we'll close it off with this one quote. He started with nothing but the capacity to know what he wanted. How beautiful is that? You can think of something and make it real. I really do believe in you. Sometimes all it takes is one person to believe in you. And if that's not your family, that's not your friends, I always like to say this. I would love to be your one supporter. And I would super appreciate it if you would subscribe and be my supporter in that same way. I would love for you to leave a comment. I respond to all of them. And especially make sure you subscribe, because we're going to be doing a lot more episodes on Napoleon Hill and the ideas in Think and Grow Rich, and expanding on them to make them actionable systems for you to use to better your life. I hope to see you in the next one.